In this video, we are going to cover a detailed summary of Sophocles' tragic masterpiece, Oedipus the King, exploring its powerful story, fate, and tragic revelations in narrative form. So let's start. Oedipus the King is a tragic play set in the ancient city of Thebes, where the people are suffering from a terrible plague. Crops are failing, animals are dying, and citizens are falling ill. The city is desperate for relief, and all hope rests on their king, Oedipus, who is admired for his intelligence and leadership. Years earlier, Oedipus had saved Thebes by solving the riddle of the Sphinx, and now the people believe he alone can rescue them again. Oedipus addresses the suffering citizens with confidence and determination. He promises to uncover the cause of the plague and remove it, whatever the cost. To seek guidance, he sends Creon, his brother-in-law, to consult the oracle at Delphi. When Creon returns, he brings troubling news. The plague will only end when the murderer of the former king, Laius, is discovered and punished. Laius was killed many years ago, and his murderer has never been brought to justice. Determined to save Thebes, Oedipus vows to find the killer. He publicly curses the unknown murderer, declaring that the criminal will be banished and live in misery. Unaware of the tragic irony, Oedipus condemns himself through his own words. His commitment to justice appears noble, but it also reveals his stubborn nature and pride, qualities that will later contribute to his downfall. To uncover the truth, Oedipus summons the blind prophet Tiresias, a man believed to possess divine insight. At first, Tiresias refuses to speak, knowing that the truth will bring destruction. Oedipus becomes angry and accuses him of treachery. Under pressure, Tiresias reveals a shocking accusation. Oedipus himself is the murderer of King Laius. Outraged, Oedipus rejects the claim and accuses Tiresias and Creon of conspiring against him to seize the throne. This confrontation marks the beginning of Oedipus's tragic journey. His refusal to accept the possibility of guilt reveals his pride and impulsive nature. He trusts reason and logic, but his emotions cloud his judgment. The more he seeks the truth, the closer he moves towards self-destruction. Queen Jocasta, Oedipus's wife, attempts to calm him, dismissing the power of prophecies, recounting how an oracle once foretold that her husband, Laius, would be killed by his own son. To prevent this, she and Laius had ordered their infant child's feet to be pierced and abandoned on a mountainside. Jocasta insists that the prophecy was false, claiming that Laius was later killed by strangers at a crossroads. However, this story deeply disturbs Oedipus. He recalls an incident from his youth when he killed an older man at a crossroads during a violent argument. The similarities trouble him, and for the first time, doubt enters his mind. He begins to fear that Tiresias's words may be true. Oedipus shares his own past with Jocasta. As a young man in Corinth, he was told by an oracle that he would kill his father and marry his mother. Horrified, he fled Corinth to avoid harming the people he believed were his parents. On his journey, he encountered a group of travelers at a crossroads and killed them in self-defense. Unknown to him at the time, the man he killed was King Laius, his biological father. Still hoping to escape the truth, Oedipus seeks confirmation from a surviving witness of Laius's murder. Meanwhile, a messenger arrives from Corinth with news that King Polybus, whom Oedipus believes to be his father, has died of natural causes. Relieved, Oedipus believes the prophecy false. However, his relief is short-lived when the messenger reveals that Oedipus was adopted and not Polybus's biological son. The messenger explains that he received the infant Oedipus from a shepherd of Thebes and gave him to Polybus and his wife. Jocasta immediately understands the horrifying truth and begs Oedipus to stop his investigation. Terrified, she leaves in despair, but Oedipus, driven by his need for truth, refuses to stop. The shepherd is brought before Oedipus and forced to speak. Under pressure, he confesses that the child he gave away was the son of Laius and Jocasta. The prophecy has been fulfilled exactly as foretold. Oedipus has killed his father and married his mother, unknowingly committing the most terrible sins imaginable. The full weight of the truth crashes down upon Oedipus. Queen Jocasta, unable to bear the shame and horror, takes her own life. When Oedipus discovers her body, he is overwhelmed with guilt and despair. In a moment of unbearable anguish, he blinds himself, believing he no longer deserves to see the world he has corrupted. Blinded and broken, Oedipus accepts full responsibility for his actions, even though they were committed unknowingly. He asks Creon, now the ruler of Thebes, to banish him from the city, just as he once vowed to do to Laius's murderer. Creon shows a measure of mercy, agreeing to consult the gods before acting, but Oedipus insists that exile is the only just punishment. Before leaving, Oedipus begs to see his daughters, Antigone and Ismene. He mourns their future, knowing they will suffer because of his sins. His love for them reveals his humanity, even in disgrace. Once proud and powerful, Oedipus is now a tragic figure who has lost everything: his kingdom, his family, his sight, and his identity. The play ends with Oedipus's complete downfall and a powerful moral lesson. Oedipus the King explores the themes of fate versus free will, knowledge versus ignorance, and the dangers of pride. Oedipus is intelligent, determined, and just, yet these same qualities drive him toward destruction. His relentless search for truth, though noble, becomes the instrument of his ruin. Sophocles presents tragedy as unavoidable when humans attempt to defy fate or ignore divine warnings. The play reminds audiences that wisdom comes through humility, and no one, regardless of power or intelligence, can escape destiny. Oedipus the King remains one of the greatest tragedies ever written, offering a timeless reflection on human suffering, responsibility, and the cost of self-discovery.